which he recognizes is in a tough spot right now, and he doesn't want them to drop to the B League. He wants to help be the cause of them staying in the league and increasing attendance and increasing ticket sales, increasing revenue for the team. He was at Rio when Rio was great, and he wants to help bring Rio back to that spot.
Fantastic. So, because we did have a discussion with the last team that he was playing for, and found out that he was released for fitness reasons and nutrition reasons, and just wanted to make sure that wasn't going to be a problem either.
That's understandable. Well, I can put those concerns at ease. If you want, we could even have Diego come in for an exam before he signs a contract, so you can see his fitness level.
Okay.
I met with him recently, and he looked tremendous. He says that he's since being released from the last team, he has put in his own fitness regime, and he says he's in the best shape of his life.
Okay.
So it sounds like he's wanting to make a comeback and show that he's not lazy and that he wants to put those rumors to rest.
Sure.
So that's something that we could do to put the team at ease before actually signing anything.
Okay. And
one little piece that maybe we can negotiate around and can get us to this figure. So in addition to the renovations and the installations, with a 1 month guarantee provision that my client is willing to provide to your client, my client has concerns about signage.
Okay.
That would maybe be put on.
What are the concerns?
So my client would prefer if there wasn't a sign that needed to be put up, and if your client was interested in not hanging a sign for his catering business, she could knock off $3,000 off the purchase price.
Okay.
If it was a small sign in the 3x2 feet variety, she could knock off $1,000.
Parking spaces. The reason that he's interested in 232 is because he would be able to use that particular lot to develop and pave a small parking lot where he could park his vans. If he were to only purchase 234,
yes,
he would be restricted in his parking options. He would have to park at a block around the corner of Browse and Highland, and he's checked the prices on that, and in order to park both of his cars down the road, that'd be a substantial cost to him, which is why he's interested in that 232 lot. So, is there any possibility or any way of being able to include this lot? Has Amy given you the authority to negotiate a price for this particular lot, or is it a bright line, just not selling?
Well, okay, so it is open for discussion. It's going to be a really hard sell for my client.
Okay.
She has given me the opportunity to negotiate for, what is that, 232?
232.
Yeah. But she's just really, like, personally against selling it. It's possible we can get to that point.
Right. So here's what I think we should do then. Because it's an auxiliary lot and my client does have an available option outside of this, maybe we should focus on 234 for the time being and then come back to 232. Harder on getting the rules back out to everyone, redistributing, letting everyone know that they're really on a short leash when it comes to stuff like this, and it's unacceptable. And if that affects your reputation, if you think that directly it's going to make your colleagues distrust you or resent you even further, then so be it at this point, because something like that is unacceptable here.
I agree, it's completely unacceptable, but at the same time, am I going to have to leave because of good nature or
well, look at this. I mean, if they see someone go, and it's because they were harassing you, I can almost guarantee the harassing is going to stop. And if they don't include you in their boys club, if they keep doing it, then they'll keep getting fired.
All right, we'll give it a try. I appreciate that you're willing to do something rather than just let it keep happening.
Right. And what I'd appreciate is in the future is if you bring these things to me as they happen, within the hour or the day.
That's fair, but just so you know, it's happened at least every other day since I've been promoted and since I started dressing differently.
Okay.
So I'm sure you don't want to see me every other day.
Right. Well, I will probably see you a lot less infrequently if we put a stop to it, at least once.
All right. Well, I'm willing to work if you're into it.
Okay. Thanks for coming in.
All right.
We'll be in touch, Allison. I think a common thing is to put a minimum amount of years on the lease before a sublease or an assignment can occur. We were hoping that number would be somewhere between 5 and 10.
Okay.
So no subletting or assigning the property within the first 5 to 10 years. If there's a particular number you're more interested in, obviously 5 is probably that number. But just to give them all a little consistency and give you guys an opportunity to develop a little bit of a reputation in the city. If you aren't profiting after the first year or two, that's pretty common in business. So maybe letting it grow a little bit and having that mandatory 5-year period.
Yeah.
I think would be a good buffer.
So I'm definitely open to that idea because I like the idea of making commitment and being there. But so Discount Marketplace's standard lease.
Right.
And did you get a definite? Did the bank tell you why the lease was not financeable the way it was with the language?
So the bank has told us that it's not financeable because of the subletting provision itself. The fact that there's a risk of other subletters use subleasing the property to multiple smaller satellite tenants that might be in competition with current satellite tenants that we have that are ready to come and be a part of the mall project, granted that you are the anchor tenant. So they're relying on the fact that I told them that you would be the anchor tenant. Let's say a couple of years down the road, you sublease the mall to a bunch of satellite tenants who compete with these smaller satellite tenants. Well, they're going to be upset, and that will be in direct violation of our contracts with them to have non-compete clauses in the mall itself. Not only that, but just the lack of security when it comes to having you and your company as a draw for customers. If you sublease the property to another tenant that is less desirable for the consumers in the area, then we're going to get less foot traffic and therefore less security when it comes to whether or not the mall project is actually a quality financeable project for the bank.
Okay. Excellent. So that kind of that was what I had imagined the problem would be. So
to be frank, he's been the most prolific rusher in the league for the past 2 years, and like Drew mentioned earlier, he has the highest rush yards, the most amount of touchdowns over the course of the regular season, comparative to any other running back. However, as it stands with his rookie contract currently, he was being paid less than nearly 25 other running backs in the league, but was averaging more than 600 yards more than the next highest rusher over the course of the season. A comparative salary to people in the past or running backs in the past who have had yards like that and have had prolific rushing seasons like that is basically what we're looking for. So long-term deal, guaranteed money in the first 3 years, and a very high base salary that is comparable to what we think that he's worth and hopefully what you think that he's worth.
Our client is definitely looking at it like that. He wasn't. We actually want to keep him in the team and build our offense moving forward, but we do see that Des Bryant opens up the running game, and then DeMarco opens up the passing game, and the two of them is what really contributes to the success of this football.
So I think something that we can all agree on is that we're both interested in having DeMarco play for the Cowboys next season. We both agreed on his production in the past. If you're not willing to honor past performances like the rest of the league, then that's an interesting predicament there. Typically, running backs have been compensated in terms of their value, in terms of their production. both in running and receiving yards. Something we're interested in doing is having him become a marquee player for your team, and I think that you would be also, given the fan recognition and how much popularity he's attained in Dallas over the last 4 years. Moving on, specifically, I think we should discuss the first 3 years of his contract coming up, and more specifically, the signing bonus, base salary, and roster bonuses for those 3 years.
Okay.